guys? How's everybody out there doing? It is Tuesday. I checked my watch. I'm checking my phone that I'm using right now. Shout out to Tommy, Barry, and Mr. B. I'm using my iPhone today with the DJI 7P. So I'm using it in the native camera app as well, using the little modulator right here. But anyway, today is Tuesday, which means there is a Tuesday roll call tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Tuesday roll call tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. All right, so in today's video, I have two things. All right, I'm gonna start with the first one, where someone asked me recently about debt relief, and does the Department of Veterans Affairs offer debt relief when it comes to credit cards or car loans? They used to do mortgage until the Trump administration ended that, but they still have counseling though. They still offer counseling for mortgages. But when it comes to credit cards, personal loans, and car loans, I am not aware, and I'm 99% sure there is no such service with the U.S. government or the Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, there are organizations that the VA will refer you to for counseling when it comes to financial literacy. But as far as there being like a Department of Veterans Affairs that deals with credit card debt or car loans or personal loan debt, or you in these buy here, pay here services like Affirm, Kernel, or Afterpay, no, they don't. Now, the VA does have a department that's called debt management, but that deals primarily with veterans things like compensation. You've been overpaid. They found a bill that you had while you were in service, or whatever it may be. They're going to contact you, which I'm sure some of you all have been contacted by them. And depending on how much you owe, they will set up payment plans, or they will tell you, hey, you need to pay this by this date. If not, we're going to take it out of your check, and we're going to take what we want to take. So I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with debt management. Now, on the hospital side, is for veterans who basically deal with copays. So sometimes you'll have disabled veterans who are getting seen for something else, and they have a copay. Or you'll have veterans who have no disabilities, who qualify through means testing, lower income, and they're seeing the VA, doctors, psychiatrists, getting medication, and they have copays. Now, when they don't pay those copays, they hear from debt management. But when it comes to any of these other services you guys may see on TV or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, where they're talking about, they are affiliated with whatever, on their website, it should basically say they have no affiliation with the Department of Veterans Affairs or the U.S. government in any way. By law, they have to disclose that. Now, if you're not sure and you can't find it because it's on their website somewhere, sometimes it's buried, but it's on there. And if you're not sure, call them, ask them, tell them you're recording the conversation, because they're liable. If they get on there and say they're affiliated with the U.S. government or the Department of Veterans Affairs, and they most certainly are not, they're liable to be sued. So they're going to disclose that information to you. Okay. Which takes me to my second question. All right. There are some of you vets who are abroad like I am. You're using these third-party services, which I do not. And you're asking about your medical records. I had mentioned this in a live, and I think this has been a couple of years ago. We had talked about this, where some of you guys are going back and you being seen wherever you've been for the last 3 months, 6 months, year, whatever. And when you asked about, your medications and things that you're getting from outside the country, and like countries like here in Colombia, the doctors that you're seeing are not aware of any records. And I've mentioned this before. That is because, just like I just mentioned, these services have no affiliation with the U.S. government, the VA, in any way. None. The only thing that they do with FMP is send them a bill. If it's a bill that seems kind of high or kind of odd based upon the service connection of the veteran, they may ask for more information for that. But as far as your medical records, FMP does not keep your medical records. That is for you as the veteran to keep that information. Okay, so you can take it back with you and hand it to whatever doctor, psychiatrist that you're seeing, so they can see what type of progress you either made or relapse, or what kind of medication they changed it to, or whatever the case may be, is up to the veteran. But again, this is what I've been saying for years now. These people have no affiliation. They can call themselves in other countries. The laws are different. They're not, U.S. laws do not transfer to these other countries. They could have VA signs, T-shirts on that says VA employee, all kinds of crap. That does not mean that they are part of the VA. And I've said this before, call 1-800-827-1000 for whatever country you're in outside of the Philippines and U.S. territories and ask, is this company associated with the VA? They will promptly tell you, no, they're not. If you want to call FMP to verify they have no association, they will tell you, no, we have nothing to do with them. They are independent. And I've mentioned before that FMP recently made a lot of changes so veterans have options, because unfortunately, a lot of these third-party companies are taking advantage of veterans by having them go to appointments they don't need to go to. I'm sure some of you all who use these services get phone calls 3, 4, 5 times a week, because that's how they make their money. They make their money off of appointments, bodies. The more bodies they got coming in, the more they can charge the government. Okay, that's why the VA has made these changes to make it much easier for veterans who are abroad and to be seen for more than just your service connection when you're abroad, to go see pretty much whatever doctor you want to see. And now they're streamlining the process to where you can get paid quicker instead of having to wait 60, 90, 180 days and get a paper check. Well, now they will put that money back in direct deposit. So you have many more options now. You're not just limited to, you were never limited to, but you're not just limited to going to that particular service if you don't want to get those harassing phone calls 24/7. Like you just went and 2 days later, they're calling you again to go back. You're doing more work abroad than you ever did in the States when you were going to the VA. And that's just being honest, okay? But when it comes to your records, my advice to any of you all who are choosing to use these services, get yourself a disk or a file to keep all of your records in. That way, when you go back to the States or you got to deal with Social Security with a CDR, continuing disability review, you have your records you can send to them. That way they see everything, because if Social Security contacts you and says, hey, we're doing a CDR, we want to see your most recent medical records. And then you go, oh, well, I've been seen here in such and such country, so the VA has it. And when they go to the VA, they're going to see the exact same thing they saw before. They're going to see nothing new. They're going to come back to you. Where are your records? We've already seen this stuff. Where's all the new stuff? You're going to be confused. And I'm telling you right now, it's not confusion, because these services have zero affiliation with your U.S. government. Now, abroad, they can tell you whatever, because again, the laws are different abroad. They can sit there and lie to you. Oh yeah, I'm a government employee. That's a government employee, such and such. They can tell you whatever they want abroad, because the laws are different. But in the U.S., they have to disclose that. Okay, so please understand the difference. And please keep track of your medical records if you're choosing to use that service, or you're going to any doctor here, right? It's up to you to keep track of that. That's part of the responsibility when you leave the U.S. and U.S. territories and you're in another country and you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. It's your responsibility. No one else's, yours. All right, guys, that's it for now. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always. And until the next time, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.